Am I good to start now? Okay, welcome everyone to the December 12th, 2025 Student Senate regular meeting. I'm going to start with roll call. I'm going to have to just do it by memory. Hector,
Your mic's muted.
I'm sorry, I'm here.
you're okay. Adrian,
Here.
Kate,
Here.
Miguel,
Here.
Cesar,
Here.
okay. David,
Here.
I believe I got everybody. Okay, the meeting agenda consensus. Did you guys look over the agenda? Are you good with it? Yes. Okay. Is Josie here? Yes, she is. We can move on to Josie's presentation for the Academic Integrity Code revision.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for having me today. It's wonderful to be here, and I'm just looking in the list and seeing all the wonderful members of the Student Senate. It's been quite a while since I've been to Student Senate, so what I'm here to share with you today, I am the Dean of Distance Education, and one of the areas that I've been tasked with over the last year is helping to lead the revision of our Pima Academic Integrity Code. And so if I may, I'll share my screen. And I'll walk through the work that has happened over the last year. First, a little history and context of our Pima Academic Integrity Code. I'm sure you're all familiar with the Student Code of Conduct, and there's sometimes some confusion about our Academic Integrity Code and how it relates to our Student Code. Around 10 years ago, and prior to that time, the two codes were connected together. And in some other community colleges and institutions, they do connect the two together. About 10 years ago, due to a variety of different factors, it was determined that it would make more sense to have our Student Code of Conduct separate from our Academic Integrity Code. And so the Student Code of Conduct is overseen by the Student Affairs, Student Experience area with Dr. Dean Madrid, who's here today, and other members of her team. And then the Academic Integrity Code got moved over to Faculty Affairs, thinking that those who have more direct engagement with faculty and curriculum, it might make more sense to bring it into that area and have that oversight. And so over that time, the code became a little outdated. There were references to specific roles that are no longer represented in our organizational chart, and some other pieces that were no longer relevant. And so that initiated our work, was based on updating it to current times. Another piece that was missing from our academic integrity code is artificial intelligence. And so we at Pima have had an AI task force that is now the AI Advisory Council. And in that AI task force's work throughout 2023 and 2024, one of the recommendations was to integrate references to AI within our academic integrity code. And so the outcome of that is that I worked with a work group of about 10 faculty and 3 staff, one of them a member of our legal counsel, Seth Shippey. We had 10 meetings throughout the spring of 2025 and the summer, and our outcomes was a revised academic integrity code. We also connected our Simplicity Advocate portal to the code. So previously, those who had concerns or wanted to submit a report about a potential violation of the code would fill out were led to a Google document that was no longer accurate because of some outdated contact information. And so we just integrated instead a reporting portal. And then we also created a faculty guide. And so here, these links, and I'll provide a share link to this slideshow in the chat, and you can access these links directly. Here's our current academic integrity code. And it is very lengthy. I don't know if many of you have taken the time to look through it, but you can see that it is quite lengthy. And part of the reason for that is because of being in the state of Arizona. There's some specific laws that inform how our academic integrity code must be inclusive of. And so that's part of why it's so lengthy and why it's written in very high legal language. And so we are not able to really change a lot of that, but what we can do is just make it clear and more representative of our current state. So here's a copy of the revision, and what I've done here is at the top identified the primary revisions. And so one revision is it now has references to artificial intelligence as a form of potential academic integrity violation, has a link to the academic integrity reporting portal, and then references to the academic integrity office are referenced as a point of contact. And that has since been changed to Provost's area academic integrity liaison. So the areas that are highlighted here are areas that we revised, and some of them are simple grammar things for parallelism. Here's a section that separates what lesser and major violations are. This was just a correction, nothing related to a huge revision. And here you can see under section 5, specific academic integrity violations. Here's where we made some modifications, just acknowledging that generative AI is a form of academic integrity. And again, you can see generative AI is just recognized, and not that any use of generative AI is an academic integrity violation, not that, it's just that using generative AI in a way that doesn't align with instructors' AI syllabus policies, or that results in work that someone is misrepresenting as their own, like those forms of generative AI that are not allowed in the course based on the faculty syllabus policies. And so here's just a example of where we replaced the prior role that we no longer have at Pima with Academic Integrity Office, which again is going to be replaced with liaison from the Provost's office. And then here I'm just opening a link to that portal that I mentioned. This is the same reporting portal that's used for the student code. And so it's separated within the portal. There's a database that's devoted to more student code items. And then there's now a section devoted to academic integrity. So when someone is reporting a violation, they go in here and they choose what kind of violation, academic integrity, and then it asks some specific details about the case. And so this is set up in a way where if students see academic integrity violations occurring around them or potentially occurring, you are empowered to fill this out. Or in most cases, it's as we've seen so far, it's faculty who are filling them out. And then those reports get stored in that Simplicity portal. And then that's where the information about how they're resolved is also stored. So back to the slides, the next steps that this is an overview of things that we've done throughout the fall in terms of sharing this information, is that we had a lot of academic integrity open forums to give people a chance to jump in, ask questions, get an overview of some of the changes. We had some meetings with Faculty Senate. And then towards the end, the Academic Integrity Work Group reviewed the feedback, and the recommendation was shared with the provost. And now this step is sharing with you all in Student Senate to see if you have questions and give you an opportunity to ask or make recommendations before the revision goes live. And like I mentioned earlier, we recognize that the code is quite lengthy and difficult to understand. And so I'm also happy to meet with you individually or in groups or come back at another time if you'd like a more in-depth conversation about the code, how it's set up, the processes, how all of that works. So with that, can I take any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. Thank you so much, Josie. On the oops, sorry, my camera's not. There we go. Was this change done before or after? Because I just learned very recently about a vote to give students access to the Gemini AI that the college is pushing. So I was just curious on how that takes into consideration this license that PCC got with Gemini and the access to students.
Thank you for that question. And now that I see everybody's faces, I see there's a lot of representatives from student experience. So yes, I'm happy to speak to that. I'm very familiar with that situation. So this is separate. So the revision of the Academic Integrity Code was mainly done to bring it up to date with our updated portal processing procedures, and then also to recognize generative AI as a new kind of tool and technology that can contribute to academic integrity violations, and also to replace that outdated role. On that other piece is Gemini Notebook LM has been a separate conversation within the college for the last 6 months, pretty much. And what that conversation has been about is that all of Pima through IT uses the Google for Workspace for Education platform. And so we use that for email, we use that for slides, all of those different features. And so on June 30th of 2025, IT enabled Gemini and Notebook LM for all staff, employees. And so that provided access to those AI tools within the Pima Google for Education workspace. And so that then led to a conversation about, well, what about enabling these tools for students? And IT and the AI Advisory Council were very clear and specific about wanting that recommendation to come from faculty, because faculty work directly with the students and have the most direct awareness of the potential impact on curriculum. The majority of faculty who shared their voice in this conversation voted in favor of enabling the tools. And that is because they want, some of them are already integrating AI and bringing that into their assignments so that students have the opportunity to gain those skills, recognizing that we hear more and more that the workforce is wanting to bring in more people who have those skills. And so faculty who voted against it are concerned about the inaccuracies, the biases, the environmental impact, etc. And those in favor of it also recognize that students are using AI tools, whether or not they're within the workspace. But if they are within the workspace, at least that protects the information, because there are specific safeguards that are in place with privacy and data within our own Google Workspace for Education account and platform. So that was a very long answer to your question, but I wanted to give you a comprehensive overview of how that conversation evolved.
Yes, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
My pleasure. Rachel.
Hi, I had a question. It was mainly, I think I understand that this isn't like making it so AI isn't allowed in assignments, but just that professors have more discretion. How should we explain to students how these changes affect them, if they do at all? Like, how does it affect students specifically?
At a high level, it just makes the processes clear and up to date. There's no real specific direct impact. The process is still pretty much the same in terms of violations are grouped as major or lesser. And there is a different process for lesser versus major, but that still very much reflects what the code is like in its current version. The only piece that I would otherwise point out is that now we have the portal linked in there. And so if you want to report something, have concerns, you can do that through that portal. So at a high level, that's really much the impact. And yes, generative AI is welcome in some of your courses, prohibited in others. It really depends on that syllabus policy that your instructors have connected with your courses.
Okay, so no like specific changes for students. It's just making what was kind of like an unspoken rule more clear.
Yes, so prior to the revision, there was no reference to generative AI. And so it was felt that there was a need to have that reflected in the code, that generative AI is a form of technology that can be considered and used in a way that would result in an academic integrity issue. So by specifying that in there, it gives people more clarity in terms of what the policy encompasses. So if any of you would rather speak outside of this meeting about the code, I'm really happy to do that. We created a faculty guide and happy to create a student guide that breaks it down a little cleaner and clearer and simpler if that would be helpful. I recognize it is a pretty big document and a lot to read and absorb. So thank you so much again for inviting me here today.
Thank you, Josie. Okay, if no one has any other questions for Josie, then I will move on. If there's any guests to our meeting that want to bring up any concerns or have any comments, now would be the time to do so. Please raise your hand or put it in the chat if there's anything you'd like to discuss. Yes, Brandon? Josie, could you send a link in the chat to the academic integrity code for Brandon? Please, thank you.
Yes, happy to do that. And they're also in the link to the slides that I shared, but I'll also paste them separately.
Okay. Does anyone have any other questions or comments? Okay, if not, then I will move on to the senator reports. I don't know why it says what I talked about last meeting because I didn't put that there. I don't currently have any updates as an individual senator, but me and Kate did meet with our CVP, and I'll let her cover what we talked about in that meeting.
Okay. Let me just pull this document up. So we went over with Brian Stewart, CVP at Northwest. We discussed with him the incident that happened with the Immigrant and Refugee Resource Center flyer that was ripped down. There was an incident report that the PCC police took. So that is being investigated and dealt with. We discussed the challenges on Northwest Campus about the food issue. They are well aware of it. It's been going on for a really long time. So they're doing exploring a couple of avenues to address it. They're looking at vending machine options. They're looking at like fresh food options, potentially storing things in the student life office. They are discussing having options that are like fresh fruits and veggies and proteins for students, as well as the food truck thing. We talked about how some students don't have the capabilities to purchase food truck items, so we are working on a solution for that. We also discussed student engagement and involvement. So the addressing how to increase the campus involvement. We talked about perhaps classroom presentations, peer-to-peer conversations, more organized communications. We talked about putting up flyers in classrooms, and hosting events, outreach events. And then we also discussed the public transportation issue that was brought up at the town hall. They said that they took our suggestions into consideration and are working on it. So we will hear back from them at some point. Admin is also trying to increase accessibility to core classes at all campuses, so that hopefully, especially I speak for me, would be really awesome. So I hope that they come through on that. And they talked about having more internships and working with the Oro Valley Chamber of Commerce. So that would really be awesome. We also discussed the rodeo weekend. It's February 26th to the 27th. They would like Student Senate to be on the float in the rodeo. So if you would like to participate in that, please let Talea know, I think. So that would be all of my updates.
Okay, thank you, Kate. We did also, I don't think it was even in the agenda, but they did also discuss that we will be having a food pantry soon. Probably at, I think when the semester starts in January is what they said, it'll be available in the library. So we'll finally have a food pantry. Yeah, that's the rest of the updates for Northwest. David, you can go next.
Yeah, so as for me, let's see the list. So first thing, in front of the CC building, there's big old trees and there's smaller trees. So we're gonna be chopping down the bigger trees. And the reason why is they take up in order to maintain them, they take a lot of water. And if you guys have been to the downtown campus recently, there are some cones around some like divots on the pavers, and that's caused some maintenance issues. So in the long term, it's very costly. And they are going to be replaced with smaller trees that are native to Tucson, because those trees are not native and they're kind of a pain to maintain. Secondly, yeah, so the divots in the pavers, they're expected to be repaired within the next 2 to 3 months. Hopefully that's the case, but we'll see how things go. And also we have new lighting at the benches south of the RV building, and we should have that by next fiscal year. And next fiscal year starts in July. So the RV building is the one right in the center of the downtown campus, and yeah, we got some new tables, or there's some tables over there that during the nighttime you can't really do much over there because it's dark. Third, the construction building, the building that's been in construction for a while, it's gonna be ready by next semester. So we're gonna have classes starting there pretty soon. It's pretty exciting. There's gonna be plumbing, carpentry, that sort of stuff. All the trade works over there. The VR station. So if you guys remember, one of my first reports that I had was talking about the VR station, that it should be ready to go by the end of November. But if you guys have been to the downtown campus recently, they're still inactive. They're still vacant. So there's been lots of delays with that. It's uncertain why, but once I get some updates, I'll be sure to update you guys with it. And also, there's a ARC food pantry Wednesdays and Thursdays at the machining lobby. So I didn't get the hours for that, but I'm sure if you go on Student Engage, you can find the hours for that. Exam Jam. So if you guys have been looking at the events on Student Life, there's these things called Exam Jam. I haven't been to them, but they sound pretty exciting. Apparently, there's a slime table. They bring dogs, snacks, games. Go in there, hang out, kind of de-stress from all the exams, the finals. So if that's something you're into, go ahead and go over there. Also, an update with the Pima Rocketry Club. They've been working really hard the past semester, and they've been and they're gonna finish their rocket hopefully by today. And so we're gonna have the CVP go visit us in our meeting, as well as the dean of industrial tools. So it's gonna be an exciting day today. And also another thing that I've been talking about, which for quite a while, was the monthly club meetings representatives. So I'm not sure how we should get that in motion, if we should have some sort of vote. But my idea is, hopefully by next semester, we can have every month we have every club send out a representative or their leader. However, I think it should be a representative. They talk about what their club's been doing, what they need, that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I think we need to get that started. So I'm not sure if we should have a vote on that. I don't know how the logistics of that works, but I think we need to get that started. Also, like I said in the last meeting, I think we should collaborate with the I think it's the ASUA, student government. I've been looking at their social media pages and been looking at what they've been doing recently, and it's actually pretty exciting. They have a, what do you call it, like a very, like their structure is very interesting, and I think we could learn a lot from them. So I'm not sure if I should be the one to get in contact with them, or if the student life court or the coordinators like Talea or Nikaylee, but we should definitely look into collaborating with them. And that's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Cesar, you can go next.
For Desert Vista, I don't know when that mural is gonna be painted. All I know, it's gonna be in the F Plaza, but we just started repainting the hall. Which side is it? We started on the ABCD building, and it's coming out nice so far. And well, for our fitness center, that one's now partnered with El Rio, so it has, I believe, a little bit of longer hours. Not too sure because I haven't checked, but when I get more information, I'll put it down in the next agenda. And for our restaurant, hopefully it'll be open soon because of our new 26 employees that we have. And that's all for Desert Vista.
All right, thank you, Cesar. Hector, you can go next.
First of all, I would like to introduce Stephanie Dennison, that she's a director and student experience and enrollment from Adult Basic Education and Career, College and Career. Stephanie.
Hi, everyone. Super happy to be here to support the work of Hector and all of you students that you're doing such great work representing our student population. We in Adult Ed are really excited. In the next several weeks, we're moving on to campuses and integrating all of our services into the Desert Vista and downtown campuses. So we're really thrilled to be moving on to campus, to have our students have the opportunity to experience campus life and resources. And so I'm really happy to be here today. I'm happy to learn more about the work that you guys are doing and to think of ways that we can support not only Hector's work, but your work as well. What did want to share with the team that we are closing our El Rio and El Pueblo learning centers next week, and we will be having a commemorative event for our El Pueblo Liberty Learning Center on Wednesday evening next week, and from 6 to 7:30, and then at our El Rio Learning Center on Thursday from 12 to 1:30. We'd like to invite anyone who would be interested in coming. There'll be food and refreshments, and it's just an opportunity for us to say goodbye to our city buildings and look forward to our time on campuses. So thank you. Thank you, Hector.
Thank you, Stephanie. The next person that I would like to introduce is Mireya Escamilla. She's also from Adult Basic Education for College and Career, Student and Community Engagement. Mireya.
Hi, thank you, Hector. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having us here. And as Stephanie said, We are so happy to be here because we know that you're doing great stuff in the community at the college level, and we're here to help around with whatever is needed. And thank you for having us here. I work with Stephanie and other things with students. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mireya. We're still pretty premature on the plans of what we're going to do to support adult basic education. Probably some of the things that I've been talking to Mireya, Stephanie, and Lori is visiting classrooms next semester of adult basic education students, so I can introduce myself and we can discuss with the students how we can help them out. But we're still planning on it. And as I said on my last meeting, I just met Lori last week, but we're moving forward. I think that's my report for now.
All right, thank you, Hector. Miguel, do you have any updates?
Yeah, well, I had my final meeting with Dr. Bourne, Vice President of East Campus, and Michael Lopez. Nothing to share on that specifically, other than it was our last meeting, so I was saying goodbye. I'm so sad. And I would like to mention how, David, when you talk about working with the UA student government, that is something that we should definitely get started, and I will definitely be helping out with that. I will be getting involved with the student government at the U of A, and excited to see how we can continue to be working together next semester. So other than that, that's my last report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Adrian, do you have any updates?
Thank you, Rachel. Well, not written updates. I have been unable to meet with my VP due to various other factors, one of them being that he was sick and was unable to show on the December 8th meeting. However, in terms of for Student Senate, the Student Senate Instagram page is now live, merging with Student Life. So we will be posting updates about Student Senate on the new Instagram page. I myself, as marketing officer, am responsible for the posts, and I'll be working very closely with both Nikki Haley and Talea, as well as each of the senators, to make content to promote Student Senate and the college campus in general. One of the ideas was that I meet with each senator at their respective campuses and or locations per se, and we'll record an introduction, brief 1-minute introduction about each of the senators and their majors, basic interview questions, if you will. And that's all that I have for now until the next meeting.
All right, thank you. So we're done with senator reports. We can move on to advisor reports.
Thank you so much, Rachel. Thank you, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Okay, great. So we have a whole bunch in our advisor reports section, but really just going to talk through the first 2 points. The rest of it is, I put in parentheses, old business, because these are updates from our last meeting, and we shared this in an email earlier this week. But if anyone has any questions about those updates, please let us know. So we wanted to check in about an idea of a campus tour that has kind of been talked around. And I think there was an idea of tabling at different campuses. And then Nick Haley and I have just gotten like bits and pieces. And so it seems like there's an idea to have a discussion. I've heard the word debate being used, and I just want to kind of restructure this idea. If the Student Senate is interested in creating a space for students to hold conversations, talk about challenging topics, this is a fabulous idea, and we definitely want to encourage and support this. But remembering that Student Senate would function as the mediation authority for this conversation, right? So managing any conflict, kind of facilitating the conversation, and providing the space for students to be able to have conversations, right? So if any of you have participated in a Socratic seminar before, you kind of sit in a circle, everyone has the same, book or passage that you've read through, and then you go through and talk about it, ask questions, share what you're taking away from it, challenge other viewpoints. And so that was something that we wanted to address. And I know that this kind of rolls into our second point about looking ahead to our spring semester. This semester has flown by. You all have done such incredible work already, and I know that you all are eager to table on campus. And so we want to make sure that you are working with your campus coordinator to schedule and set up that time, right? So emailing them, stopping by their office to set up a time in person or virtually to say, hey, I'm available this time and day to come and table in student life, or maybe in a common area for 2 hours or an hour and a half. And so that the coordinator can help make sure you have a table, you have chairs, you have flyers printed out, the fancy Student Senate tablecloth. So the first step for you as senators is to email or contact your student life coordinator. That could be just stopping by their office, okay? And then we also wanted to do a new scheduling availability poll for this new semester. I know you all have new spring schedules, and so we popped in there. It's the same we did this last semester, and so we're looking at that to make sure that we are getting the best possible time that you all are available. So when filling this out, please consider 1, your class schedule, of course, but 2, your work schedule, any other regular commitments that I'm maybe I need to pick up your sibling from school at 3 p.m. every Tuesday. So consider those things when you are filling out the schedule poll, okay? And that is linked right here in the agenda, was also in this last week's email, and we'll send a follow-up summary email of our meeting today and also include it in there. So if you click into that and you're like, this is giving me some trouble, or maybe you have a really full schedule the next couple of months, just send Nick, Kaylee, and I an email, and we'll work that into the kind of software the best we can to find a good time for everybody, okay? I'll run through the action item updates, and then if anyone just has any questions or follow-ups on these, just let me know. So 1, like Adrian just mentioned, Senate now has an Instagram. I dropped that in the chat, so if you want to follow, we'll be getting that up and running with Adrian. Very exciting. Yes, Nikaylee, go ahead.
Oh, I just want to remind you all too that with the Instagram, if you want to have your own personal Student Senate representative Instagram page where you post like your own updates or things you're doing for your campus, you are allowed to do that. I know that Kate already has one, so she used like her headshot for the profile picture, and you can post things and like what you're doing at your campus. And then I'll follow the Senate page and you can like collaborate with the page. So it's really fun, but that's totally up to you if you want to have your own personal one. But yeah, make sure you guys follow the social media and spread the word to all your other Pima friends so they follow it too.
Awesome. Thank you, Nikaylee. So yeah, we're really excited and hoping this will help increase visibility for Senate. Our second action item follow-up was about communication. So remember, anything we're sending you about Pima Student Senate activities is going to go to your Pima email, your student email, so the @mail.pima.edu. And we have also created a Google Chat space. And so that is essentially a group chat within Google Workspace, and it's going to function as, sometimes there's more urgent things and immediate communications needed. So that is where we will have more urgent communications. Nikaylee.
Also, for your emails on your Pima student emails, just a reminder, check if you haven't been receiving or you think you haven't been receiving the emails from the PCC-student senators email group chain that's normally where things will go to. Check your trash or your spam email folders, and if it's in there, move those, mark those as important so that they start going to your main inbox. Because you all are added on the listserv for that email, but it could be potentially going to trash. So just double check that.
Yeah, thank you, Nikaylee. We realized someone on our team, their email was marking it as trash. So please make sure you're getting those emails, because that's how we're sending messages out to all of you. The third thing was, this is still in the brainstorming phase. Haven't found a great alternative platform to increase, collaboration and communication that Rachel had shared about last meeting. So I'm going to continue kind of exploring some different things, trying them out, and hopefully we find some great things. Going to be tapping into some of our Pima Online peers and coworkers. They're always doing cool stuff, so they might have something that'll work great for us. So any questions about anything I've shared, like Nikaylee shared, or just for us as advisors? Anything else before I pass it off? And if you just think of something later, please send us a message. Via email, utilize that Google chat space. All right. So I'll go ahead, keeping in mind our time for today. I'll go ahead and pass it off. So thank you so much.
Okay, thank you guys. We can move on to old business. The first item is an update on the treasurer position from Valerie.
Okay, hi everybody. So I did check in with leadership and with legal, and we can move forward and amend the bylaws and add a treasurer position. But before we do that, I really need some more information about how are we planning to use this position? Are you looking at fundraising? Are you looking at budget issues? Because I know that we have a meeting with student affairs leadership, and so this probably is a good topic to follow up on in terms of how do you want to use this position, and what's our intent behind it. So I don't know, Talea, Nikaylee, or everybody, if this is a good time to start having that conversation, or if we want to move that to our next meeting.
I think because of the limited amount of time, it would probably be good if we talked about it in the next meeting, because we still have more to cover, if that's okay. That right? Yes, okay. So thank you, Valerie. We'll talk about that in the next meeting. So then we can move on to the special election and the tabling. Would you like to cover that still?
Yeah, I can cover that real quick. So we are going to have a special election. The application did open today. It'll be for the few vacant positions we have. So at West, Downtown, East, Pima Online, and Desert Vista. So that's in the works right now. So once again, for the spring schedule during Welcome Week, we are really pushing you guys to table, contact those student experience coordinators to table that first week so you can really advertise it. The application will close January 30th, and then we'll go through the process of screening the applications with our panel and going through like the election process with that. But we really want you guys to advertise it as best as you can. I believe Adrian will work on some marketing materials for it. I know he wants to meet with you guys to do some videos. So Adrian will talk to you guys soon. But yeah, we're really excited for this special election and having some new faces to the group. Oh, and same, sorry, with the tabling for our welcome week, it will be when classes start, January 15th. We're now open Friday, so you are available to table on that Friday as well. All the way to the next week is when Student Life will be having its welcome week programming. We would encourage you to do it during that week, but of course, if you want to do it more than once or other days, you're more than welcome to. And I think the tabling also feeds into the tour you guys want to do, because I think the initial tabling of you just meeting people will help attract people to those tours, Socratic seminar type tabling discussions you want to do. So, just think about that. That's all I got.
Okay, thank you, Nikaylee. The last thing was just the organizational tools, but Talea briefly covered that earlier. We can use them to collaborate with each other and create documents related to our goals and resource collection for the next student senators. But I'll move on to new business. I'll just briefly cover these because we still have more and we only have 6 minutes. We should submit our Student Senate project ideas to the linked Padlet by January 30th. That would be the due date just for our concepts to be finished. We should start planning to do the monthly club representative meetings. I think that was something that David was interested in doing. David, I would recommend outlining that in the Google Drive folder in some kind of document so that next semester we can discuss that more, just like what your idea was. And then the same thing with the volunteer and community outreach initiatives. It would be great if we could brainstorm over the break and possibly write down in a document in that folder the different places that we could volunteer with, especially things that would benefit students. And then, as we discussed earlier, collaboration with U of A's student government. We should think about that before next semester. And then the announcements and reminders, we already covered the special election, planning for spring semester tabling. We should continue to include both of the advisors, Leah and Nikaylee, on any Senate-related communications. So if we send any emails out, we should make sure to include them in the recipients. And then for action items, I think, have an hours logging document for next semester to keep track of our hours. Yay. Yes, Miko?
I have a question on the senator mileage reporting. For any advisor who could answer. Last year, for my mileage report, I could only fill for one. So is it supposed to be for every single? And we can discuss this later too. But I'm just kind of confused on if we're getting refunded on every single trip that we made outside of campus.
Yeah, Miguel, that's a great question. So it should have been each round trip campus. Round trip campus travel. So if you were at East for the day, drove out to Desert Vista for an event or a meeting, and then returned to East Campus, then that should have been logged in the mileage report. And if you were unable to submit more than one, yeah, send Nikki and I an email. We can look into that. But it should be each time. And the tricky part is for this is it's a round trip. So it has to be something that you have started at your home campus, departed, and traveled back to your campus.
Thank you. Yes, we will follow up because I last time, because it's on PimaEngage, correct? Yeah, like it only allowed for one submission. So I'll send you an email about it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So that covers the center mileage reporting. If you are going from your campus to an event and then back, you can include that and get a refund for it. Like we mentioned earlier, as soon as possible, complete the spring schedule availability survey and then submit your Student Senate project ideas to the Padlet by January 30th. That covers the entire agenda. We have 2 minutes left. Did anyone want to discuss anything before we go on break? Anything you want us to focus on or work on? All right, if not, then this meeting is adjourned. Oh, Michael, yes?
I'm sure you're already focused on your finals and getting done with that, and everyone's doing well, but everyone enjoy a happy break, a happy holiday. You've done a great job. It's much appreciated by everyone, especially your fellow students and ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Miguel. Kate, you had something to say?
I just wanted to thank Miguel for being in our Student Senate, and I know that you're transferring, and it was really lovely working with you, and we're going to miss you a lot. So we just wanted to thank you for being here.
Thank you so much, Kate. I'm going to miss you guys all. Thank you, Mr. Lopez, as well. Thank you, everybody. Happy holidays, everybody.
I almost forgot this is Miguel's last meeting. Yes, thank you, Miguel. Everyone say thank you. The best senator. Yay!
Thank you.
Okay, otherwise, this meeting is adjourned. I will see you guys at the next one.
Nikaylee, we will use this link again to join in the next meeting, or is it a separate
No,
link?
it's a different link.
Different link. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.